Hi there everyone and welcome once again to the TrainAid HQ. My name is Nick and in today's video we're going to be looking at the Level 4 Certificate in Education and Training and to understand what is required to complete Unit 1. This is the first unit of the course, understanding roles, responsibilities and relationships in education and training. This is the first unit of the Level 4 course. In terms of your assignments, please use the template provided by TrainAid. The suggested word count is roughly 2,000 to 3,000 words. We're looking for a minimum of 4 references within this assignment. Please use the Anne Gravel's textbook and any other textbook, website, journals, and even your own internal policies and procedures as well. So do include those. We would like for you to talk about your own current teaching experiences or perhaps experiences or areas that you would like to teach perhaps in the future as well. So those future potential teaching ideas, that's absolutely fine to include as well. In terms of the writing style, it can be in the third or the first person, that's absolutely fine. You can also include any photos, images and screenshots of your teaching practice, any images to further develop your point within the assignment as well. In terms of the email of where to send it to, please send it to the marking team at CET at train-aid.co.uk, and the marking team work to 5 working days to turn around your assignment, to mark it and give you constructive feedback as well. Okay, in terms of our first criteria then, the first one is criteria 1.1, explain the teaching role and responsibilities in education and training. So this first criteria is setting at the scene and it's looking at your own role and responsibilities within your teaching or training establishments. Okay, so what we're looking for there is for you to reflect on a minimum of 5 teaching roles. Okay, we'd like for you to explain those 5 roles. Okay, what do they mean? And also we'd like for you to say, how do you demonstrate those roles within your teaching practice? Okay, for example, a motivator is key within any teaching or training establishment. How to encourage, support, to motivate your learners throughout the course, for example. Okay, so what does it mean to be a motivator, and also how do you demonstrate that within your teaching practice as well? So 5 key roles is what we're looking for. We're also looking for 5 responsibilities as well, so being accountable to your learners. Okay, so I'd like for you to explain any 5 responsibilities, and also to give examples of each responsibility. For example, health and safety. How do you ensure the safety of your learners, for example? Okay, we're also looking at this stage for you to explain the purpose of initial assessment within teaching. Okay, so we're starting our assignment and we're thinking of setting the scene, and how do we conduct initial assessments as well. So give examples of any initial assessments that you carry out with your learners there. So perhaps 2 or 3 different examples of initial assessment. Furthermore, it would be also really valuable for you to explain the teaching and learning cycle as well. Okay, so this is demonstrating your understanding of ensuring you can look at different stages such as identifying needs, planning and design, the assessment of your course, the delivery, and also the evaluation side as well. So we'd like for you to reflect on that. Okay, very important within criteria 1.1. The suggested word count is roughly 500 to 1,000 words. Have a look at pages 23 to 29 within the textbook as well, and that will support you with answering this first criteria. Moving on to criteria 1.2, we are now looking at key aspects of legislation, regulatory requirements and codes of practice relating to own role and responsibilities. Okay, within teaching and training, there's a wide variety of different legislations, regulations, and also codes of practice. Legislations are otherwise known as laws. They are often set by government and they don't change over time. Okay. Furthermore, regulations, again, are very much rules, and they are guided by each organisation. Okay, it could be different regulations for different establishments as well. Okay, and finally, codes of practice. These are often individual, depending on the organisation that you are working for. Okay, so some organisations, teaching establishments, might follow different codes of practice depending on the sector you are teaching or training within. To meet this criteria, we'd like for you to reflect on any 4 legislations or regulations, or even codes of practice as well. Okay, you can select a variety. Okay, you could follow the examples on the board here. So we have the Health and Safety at Work Act, GDPR, Safeguarding, the Equality Act, or even 1 or 2 elements of the codes of practice as well. So 4 key areas here to focus on. We'd simply like for you to explain the Act, okay? So when did it come into action? When did it come into force within teaching? And also to provide examples from your own teaching role as well. So how do you demonstrate, how do you promote the Health and Safety at Work Act as well? We're looking for 500 words here in terms of this criteria. Okay, the next element of Unit 1 is looking at ways to promote the equality and diversity within teaching and training. So very important that we as educators promote equality and diversity. It makes our teaching environment inclusive. Okay, it's going to encourage more learners to be open, to be more relaxed. Okay, it promotes a fantastic atmosphere where learners can fulfill and achieve their potential as well. So the Equality Act was promoted in 2010. Okay, and that means that every learner has the right to achieve, to be recognised, and they are ensured that their own sort of personal sort of values are considered, and they're not being discriminated against in any way. Okay, in terms of ways that we as teachers or trainers can promote equality and diversity, is simply to be non-judgmental. Okay, to challenge any direct or indirect discrimination within your teaching establishments. To ensure that you remain objective as a teacher, you don't have favourite learners, okay, and that you're being fair as well, okay. There are many different ways that we can promote equality and diversity, and within the textbook, please have a look at pages 41 to 43 as well. So there's a lot of different ways that we can promote equality and diversity. In terms of your assignment, I think it'd be fantastic if you explain the term equality and diversity, okay, just in your own words. That's absolutely fine. We'd also then like for you to explain a minimum of 5 ways in which you as a teacher promote equality and diversity as well. You can include images or pictures to promote your point here. Okay, so in terms of a word count, we're looking for 500 words. Do feel free to go over that word limit, of course. Okay, as we're pressing through this first unit, okay, criteria 1.4 is to explain why it is important to identify and meet individual learner needs. Okay, so this does follow on from the teaching and learning cycle, where the very first stage is to identify needs. One key area there is to identify the needs of the learners, okay, so to ensure that they are supported, okay, and if we can have a suitable initial assessment with our learners at the start of the course, we can find out ways that we can support them throughout the learning process, that they achieve, fulfill their potential, they don't drop out of the course in any way as well. So definitely within this question, I'd recommend you explaining having a robust initial and diagnostic assessment, how that can help learners to feel relaxed and also feel supported as well. Another way that we can identify and meet individual learner needs is through ILP, so individual learner plans. These are one-to-one meetings that you have with your learners throughout a course, where you sit down with them and establish targets as well. So if you set SMART targets, you're going to help the learners to feel more involved within your classroom, and to break down the actual course content as well to make it more manageable and also achievable. So those are just some ways in which you can promote individual learner needs as well. Furthermore, we could also have perhaps an interview process to ensure learners are on the correct programme of study as well. If there's perhaps any gaps within their knowledge of, at the start of the course, perhaps we can signpost the learners to another sort of course that they could attend, as well as your own, to make sure that these gaps within their knowledge are being fulfilled as well. It could even be perhaps assigning them with a mentor as well, and this is going to help identify and meet their individual needs as well. So we would like for you in this assignment question is to explain why it's important to identify learner needs, and we would like for you to include perhaps 3 or 4 ways that you as a teacher or trainer can do this as well. So simply to be approachable is a key way that you can meet individual learner needs. As a word count, perhaps just 300 words for this one. Do feel free to write more, of course. Okay, so we're moving on to our next criteria, so we're looking at ways in which that we can maintain a safe and supportive learning environment, Again, this ties in with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, If learners feel both safe and supportive, they're going to move up the pyramid, and they're going to feel that they can, to realise their potential, they can self-actualise, and they can obviously move on to different courses as well once they've achieved that. Just on the board, we have a number of ways that we can promote a safe and supportive learning environment, in terms of safety. We have perhaps a risk assessment, first aid procedures as well, so knowledge of where those are as a teacher is quite key. Housekeeping, also venue security, so having a good knowledge of that is going to help your learners to trust you and feel like they understand where all of those requirements are, In terms of being supportive, you can be friendly, you can be approachable, you can be accessible before, after the lesson if learners would like a chat to you. Also to be simply welcoming, to have ILPs, and an opportunity for learners to give their feedback and thoughts as well. For this question, we would like for you to explain 3 to 4 ways in which you promote a safe learning environment, and please use the examples from the board here, and also 3 to 4 ways to promote a supportive learning environment as well. So do include your own teaching examples here. We're looking for roughly 300 to 400 words within this question. We're just moving on to our next criteria. This is 2.2, and this is why it's important to promote appropriate behaviour and respect for others. So one key role of any teacher or trainer, of course, is to be a role model. So you're setting a very good example of how your learners should conduct themselves and also behave as well. The reasons for this is going to promote a pleasant learning environment, so all learners are going to feel that their opinions are respected, they can open up. It creates a rapport with the group as well, so very important when you're teaching to learners perhaps throughout a year-long course, you do develop an understanding of their interests, their hobbies, for example. You're finding out a bit about them and you can develop a natural rapport with them. If learners feel more relaxed, they're going to open up, they're going to ask perhaps lots of questions about the course, and that way you can help them as much as possible. If learners feel more relaxed as well, they're going to feel more focused on activities as well, they're going to feel more engaged, and there's going to be naturally more of a buy-in, to trial new things as well. They're going to take you seriously, and the activities are going to be quite fun and engaging as well. So for this question, what we are looking for is you to explain a minimum of 3 reasons why it's important for you to promote this positive classroom atmosphere as well. We'd also like for you to aim to include roughly 300 words within this question. Okay, moving on to the very much the tail end of this unit, we're looking at criteria 3.1. This is to explain the teaching role, okay, and how it involves working with others, okay. There is a term called signposting within teaching and training, and this term signposting means that you as a teacher or trainer, you come to the end of your knowledge, okay. We are professionals, but we're not expected to know every question or to cater for every need that the learner might have, okay. So signposting is you as a teacher. It's essentially signposting the learner to another professional, okay. It could be perhaps a website, a resource, okay. So you're just pointing them in the right direction for those to seek professional advice to help them with the learning process if they have a particular need at that time. So signposting is all about working with other professionals, okay. Your own organisation might have a range of different organisations who they're associated with, who they could point the learner in the right direction to. It's very much about knowing your own limitations as well, okay. It's also a legal responsibility to help and assist learners, to give them the best advice that you can, okay. So knowing about these organisations prior to perhaps a course starting is going to help you when you do have a question from a learner and you simply can't help them. For this criteria, what we'd like for you to do is we'd like for you, in your own words, to describe the term signposting, okay, what does it mean? We'd also like for you to explain why it's so important for you to promote signposting as well. We're looking for roughly 200 to 300 words for this, this criteria. Okay, moving on. So we're still thinking of signposting here, but we're thinking of the potential barriers to education and training, the barriers or potential boundaries as well. And so what that means is that sometimes that a learner might experience sort of a bump in the road and they can't achieve their full qualification as well. So we're looking at perhaps the reasons why these boundaries or barriers do occur, okay? So it could be things such as time, okay? A learner might be enrolled on your course, but they might not have the time available to complete the course or qualification. There could be equipment costs. They simply can't afford the equipment that you are using on your course, okay? So it could be some financial barrier as well. It could also be sort of the confidence of the learner. It could be the views of family members or friends as well. So that could stop them from perhaps attending your course as well. What we'd like for you to do is we'd like for you to explain the term boundaries or barriers within education and training. So what does that mean? We'd also like for you to explain a minimum of 3 different learner boundaries here, okay? Do feel free to use any 3 of the ones in the table behind me, okay? And as I said, roughly 200 to 300 words is absolutely fine, okay? And we are on to criteria 3.3, okay? So obviously we've talked about signposting, we looked at barriers and also boundaries, but now we're going to look at points of referral, okay? So with all these barriers and boundaries, there are ways that we as teachers can help learners to overcome these potential barriers, okay? So this is where we are signposting the learner to, we're pointing them in the right direction, okay? This could be perhaps a learning support mentor or advisor. It could be a careers advisor. The careers team are very helpful for providing advice. It could be fellow managers as well. So course managers, they could be a specialist within a particular area and they could provide lots of support. Furthermore, it could be things such as websites, journals, it could be textbooks even, or the latest awarding body guidelines as well. So all of that will be sound advice for your learners. For this criteria, we'd like for you to explain in your own words, what does the term point to referral in education and training mean? Okay, so 2 or 3 sentences on what does it actually mean. I would also like for you to describe a minimum of 3 points of referral. You could, of course, explain the ones that you use within your own organisation as well. Okay, in terms of a word count, we're looking for roughly 200 words as a minimum here. Okay. this brings us to the very final part of the assignment. We have the where to send your assignment to. Okay, please send your assignment to CET@train-aid.co.uk, and you are going to receive feedback within 5 working days. The team will let you know if you've met the criteria. If you haven't, don't worry, they'll give you helpful hints, and then you can progress onto your next assignment. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening to our assignment support video. If you do have any questions, just please send us an email or give us a call. Thank you.